Hello, Sam Ryder. How are you?
Hey mate, how's it going? You okay?
Good, good, good. Congratulations on your song "Fought and Lost," which has been nominated by the Emmys. Were you familiar with the America's Television Award at all? What was your reaction to that?
Oh yes, I was familiar, and my reaction was that of just a big, loud scream of joy and excitement.
So, when you sat down with Jason Sudeikis about the potential of you writing a song for the show Ted Lasso, what was that conversation like? What convinced you to contribute a song for Ted Lasso?
Well, I wish that conversation happened, but it didn't. I never
Oh,
met
okay.
until very recently, actually. Um, but I, I actually, he was in the crowd when I sang with Queen at the Taylor Hawkins tribute concert in London at Wembley Stadium.
Hmm.
And I believe that him and Tom Howe were in the audience and they heard me sing and they thought this guy could sing something for our show. And so there were discussions behind the scenes that I was completely unaware of until I got into a studio a couple of months later with a friend of mine called Jamie Hartman, who is a close friend with Tom Howe. And Jamie sort of told me, now there's an opportunity for a song in Ted Lasso. They're looking for an original song, and I think we should go for it. And so we did, and now we're sitting here. So I'm glad we did. But let me tell you, I hadn't seen a single episode of Ted Lasso at that point. I'd heard a lot about it. I'd heard great things, which I now know that they deserved because it's the best show ever. But I was yet to see it. It was on my to watch list. But I'm glad actually that I hadn't seen anything when I wrote this song because it it meant that I wasn't trying to write something for Ted Lasso. I was just writing a song uh, about this, this relatable sort of human condition of us always in every walk of life, no matter what sort of industry or sector you work in, we always are given a choice of do we carry on or do we give up?
The pandemic 3 years ago and the rise of TikTok gave opportunities for new artists to become big online, such as Jack Harlow and yourself, of course, as an example. Looking back on that lockdown period, what did you take away from that, and why is it artists such as Jack Harlow and yourself could shine so bright in a time when the world was disheartened and discouraged?
Um, well, I think for me, TikTok and just lockdown in general was a time where I had time. Before that, I was singing at weddings most days of the week, and that had gone on for 8 years. I loved it. I loved how it helped me develop my voice and just fall in love with music and different genres of music. But when all of that stopped, when all the weddings were cancelled, I was left sort of, twiddling my thumbs. I had nothing to do. So I stood in the corner of my shed and I sang and I sang and I sang and I sang. And I used it almost as a way of eliminating procrastination and overthinking from my life because I was so worried about, I loved making my own music and I had dreams of like being here now, like talking to people like yourself about music that I'd written, that I'd released. But every time I'd work on stuff, I'd think it's not good enough. I'll not finish it. I'll just throw it away, start again. So many musicians are like that. We overthink and we aim for this level of perfection, which is unattainable and unreachable. But TikTok and singing during lockdown was a way of me just grabbing my phone and singing directly into it and then pressing post. And whatever it was what it was. And also it is about never giving up because 15 years it took to get to that point where the stars started to change and align. But I'd been knocking on the door, I guess, of like the music industry for 15 years before that happened. So better to have fought and lost than never fought at all. Definitely carry on, never give up, keep the faith, keep the fire burning.
And you got to collaborate with legendary Brian May. Well, Sam, best of luck to you with the Emmys. I hope you win. I'm cheering for you, my friend. Thank you for talking to me and congratulations.
Thanks so much, and thanks for being patient and listening to my long answers. But I'm stoked. We got nominated for an Emmy, and fingers crossed. Peace.